Let her go. Old people should know when to go. My girlfriend told my dying grandmother while I was out for medication. I learned the truth after she passed and felt something break clean inside me. She didn't collapse until the day she faced. Who heard? I'm Landon, 32 male, and I need to get this off my chest because I feel like I'm losing my mind. My girlfriend Mara, 28 male female, just showed me who she really is, and I'm still processing it all. I was orphaned at 9 when my parents died in a car accident. My grandmother May stepped up and raised me like I was her own child. She's literally everything to me. The woman who taught me how to tie my shoes, helped with homework, came to every school play, everything. When other kids complained about their parents, I'd think about how lucky I was to have her. Fast forward to 6 months ago. May got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Doctors said maybe 3 to 6 months. I didn't even hesitate. I took a leave of absence from my software engineering job and moved back to her house to take care of her full time. That's where the problems with Mara started. She called my decision career suicide and said I was burying my future for someone who's already lived her whole life. Those were her exact words. She barely visited during May's illness, maybe 4 times in 6 months, and each time she acted like she was doing me some huge favor. Look, I get that watching someone you love deteriorate isn't easy, but this is my grandmother, the woman who raised me. How was that even a choice? 2 weeks ago, I had to run out to the pharmacy to pick up May's pain medication. My Aunt Corinne was staying with May while I was gone, just for an hour, maybe less. When I got back, Corinne looked shaken, but wouldn't say what happened. She just said Mara had stopped by. May passed away 3 days later. Peaceful, at home, just like she wanted. At the funeral yesterday, Corinne pulled me aside and told me what really happened that night. She said Mara had shown up and demanded to speak with May alone. Corinne reluctantly stepped out of the room, but stayed close enough to hear. According to Corinne, Mara looked my dying grandmother in the eye and said, "You've lived your life already. It's time to let Landon live his. Stop holding him back." I felt something break inside my chest when she told me, like physically break. This woman I've been with for over a year told my dying grandmother, the most important person in my world, that she was a burden, that she should basically hurry up and die so I could get back to normal life. May had asked Corinne not to tell me while she was still alive. She didn't want me to have to deal with that on top of everything else. Even dying, she was still protecting me. I can't stop thinking about May's last few days. Was she carrying that conversation with her? Did she die thinking I might agree with Mara? Jesus Christ, I hope not. The memorial reception is tomorrow, and honestly, I don't know how I'm supposed to face Mara. Part of me wants to never see her again. The other part wants answers. Like, who the hell says something like that to a dying person? How do you even process something like this? Edit. Holy shit, I did not expect this much response. Thank you all for the support. Reading these comments is helping me realize this isn't normal behavior, even in stressful situations. May would probably tell me I already know what to do. Edit 2. A lot of people are asking if I confronted Mara yet. I haven't. I've been avoiding her calls since the funeral, but she'll be at the reception tomorrow, and I think it's time we talked. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since I posted, and wow, things have escalated in ways I never saw coming. The confrontation at the reception did not go how I expected. Actually, it went so much worse that I'm still trying to process it all. So Mara showed up to the memorial reception, wearing a tight black dress that looked more appropriate for a nightclub than a funeral. Already people were giving her looks. My family was being polite, but I could feel the tension. She immediately came over to me, acting like nothing had happened, talking about how we needed to get through this difficult time together. That's when I lost it. I pulled her aside and asked her directly, "Did you really tell my dying grandmother that it was time for her to let me live my life?" The look on her face told me everything. Not shock, not confusion, just this flash of, "Oh shit, I got caught." Then she tried to backpedal. "That's not what I said. Someone twisted my words to make me look bad. I was trying to help her understand that holding on to you wasn't healthy for either of you." Before I could respond, my Aunt Corinne appeared next to us. she'd overheard. "I was there," Corinne said, her voice shaking with anger. "I heard every word. You looked at a dying woman and told her to stop being a burden. There's no misinterpretation." That's when Mara's mask really slipped. Instead of apologizing or showing any remorse, she doubled down. "Fine. Yes, I said it. Someone had to. Landon was throwing his life away playing nurse when you all should have put her in a facility months ago. At least I cared enough about his future to be honest." The entire room went silent. I mean, dead silent. My uncle stepped forward and very quietly told Mara she needed to leave. Now. But here's where it gets crazy. She refused. She actually said, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support Landon through this loss." It took 3 of my male cousins to escort her out while she yelled about how the family was manipulating me against her, and how I'd regret this when I realized she was the only one who truly cared about my well-being. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The harassment started immediately. Calls from different numbers. When I blocked one, she'd call from another. Her friends started showing up at places they knew I'd be, trying to talk sense into me about how grief was making me irrational. Then she showed up at my apartment. The problem is, she's not on the lease. We never officially moved in together. She just gradually started staying over more and more until she basically lived there. When I told her we were done, and she needed to get her stuff and leave, she laughed and said I couldn't kick her out of our place. I came home 3 days later to find she'd trashed the apartment. Food rotting on counters, bathroom flooded, my clothes thrown around. She'd also stopped paying her half of utilities, which I found out when the electric company called. I packed all her belongings into garbage bags, changed the locks, and called the police to document everything. When the officers arrived, she called them too, claiming I was illegally evicting her and holding her property hostage. The cops quickly figured out she had no legal right to be there and told her to collect her things and leave. But wait, it gets worse. Her mother showed up at May's house while I was there cleaning out belongings. This 60-year-old woman actually rang the doorbell and started screaming about how I was destroying her daughter's happiness and demanding I stop being selfish. I couldn't believe it. This woman's daughter had essentially told my dying grandmother to hurry up and die, and somehow, I'm the selfish one? Last straw came yesterday. Mara's best friend Helen showed up at my office building. Security called me down because she was refusing to leave until she spoke with me. Helen tried this whole intervention speech about how Mara never meant to hurt anyone, and how losing a grandparent isn't worth destroying a relationship over. When I explained what actually happened, Helen just said, well, maybe she could have been more tactful, but she wasn't wrong. Old people do hold back young people sometimes. I realized then that this isn't just Mara. This is an entire group of people who think what she did was acceptable. Maybe tactless, but ultimately justified. I'm done. I called a lawyer this morning about getting a restraining order. Edit. The number of messages I'm getting from people sharing similar experiences is both comforting and depressing. Apparently this kind of thing isn't as rare as I thought. Edit 2. For those asking, yes, I'm doing okay. Staying at May's house for now while I figure things out. It's actually been healing, going through her things and remembering the good times. Update 2. The restraining order hearing was yesterday, and I need to share what happened because I still can't believe the audacity. First off, Mara showed up with a lawyer. Apparently her family has money, which explains some of the entitlement. Her attorney tried to paint me as the aggressor, claiming I was using grief to justify domestic violence. Their evidence being that I changed my locks and threw her belongings onto the street. But when it was my turn to present evidence, everything changed. I had documentation of everything. The harassment calls. I'd started recording them after the first few. Screenshots of her friends' text messages, security footage from my apartment building showing her destroying property, HR emails from my workplace about her calls, even photos of the flooded bathroom. Then my Aunt Corinne testified about what she witnessed at May's bedside. The judge asked Mara directly, Ms. Williams, did you tell a terminally ill patient that she should stop holding her grandson back? Mara's lawyer whispered something to her, but she ignored him and answered, I was trying to help her understand that she was being selfish. Sometimes dying people need to hear hard truths. The entire courtroom went quiet. The judge just stared at her for a good 10 seconds before asking, "You believe it's appropriate to tell dying patients they're being selfish for wanting their family close?" I was looking out for Landon's future. No one else would tell her the truth. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. The judge's expression shifted from professional neutrality to something colder. "Ma'am, what you're describing is not truth-telling. It's cruelty. The fact that you can't see the difference is troubling." The restraining order was granted immediately. 1 year, no contact direct or indirect, 500 feet minimum distance. The judge also noted that any violations would result in immediate arrest and extended restrictions. But the story doesn't end there. Walking out of the courthouse, Mara's mother was waiting by my car. She started yelling about how I'd ruined her daughter's reputation and how people were taking sides against her on social media. Apparently, word about the restraining order had spread through our mutual friends, and it wasn't going well for Mara. Several people had reached out to me privately, saying they'd had their own uncomfortable experiences with her behavior, but hadn't spoken up before. One friend told me Mara had said similar things to her during her father's cancer treatment. Comments about not letting old people guilt-trip you and knowing when to let go. Another said Mara had made cruel remarks about her disabled brother. I'm realizing May's situation wasn't an isolated incident. This is just who Mara is. The weirdest part? 2 days after the court hearing, I got a call from someone I didn't recognize. Turns out it was Mara's ex-boyfriend from college. He'd somehow heard about what happened and wanted to share his own story. He told me that when his grandfather passed away during their relationship, Mara had gotten angry that he wanted to take time off work for the funeral. She'd said his grandfather had lived a full life already and couldn't understand why he was wasting vacation days on dead people. He'd broken up with her shortly after, but hearing my story made him realize he should have spoken up back then. It's strange how one terrible moment can reveal someone's entire character, you know? I keep thinking about all the small red flags I ignored. How she'd roll her eyes when I talked about May's stories. How she'd change the subject when I mentioned family visits. How she never wanted to spend holidays with my extended family. I thought she was just not family-oriented. I didn't realize she actually resented my connections to other people. Edit. Thanks for all the support, everyone. It's been helpful having people validate that I'm not crazy for thinking this was wrong. Edit 2. Several people have asked about my job situation. Work has been understanding, and I'm planning to go back next week. May left me the house, so I have time to figure things out without financial pressure. Final update. I wanted to give one last update since so many people have been following this story and checking in on me. It's been about 2 months since my last post. First, the restraining order is holding. Mara tested it twice, once by driving slowly past the grocery store where I was shopping, caught on their parking lot cameras, and once by having a friend approach me at a coffee shop with a message from her. Both incidents were reported, and she got official warnings from police. Haven't heard anything since. I moved back to May's house permanently. It felt right. This place holds so many good memories, and honestly, it's helped with the grieving process. I've been slowly making it my own, while keeping the touches that remind me of her. Found something interesting while cleaning out the attic last week. May had kept every school project I'd ever made, every report card, every photo from every birthday, but she'd also kept a journal during the last year of her life. Most of it was about her illness and her worries about leaving me alone. But there were entries about Mara, too. May had picked up on things I'd completely missed. Landon's girlfriend seems uncomfortable when I tell stories about his childhood. She changes the subject or checks her phone. I don't think she likes sharing his attention. Asked Landon to invite Mara for Sunday dinner again. 3rd time she's canceled last minute. Starting to wonder if she's avoiding me specifically. Mara made an odd comment about not understanding people who live in the past. When I asked what she meant, she said some families are too close, and it's unhealthy. I'm concerned. The final entry about Mara was dated 2 days before that awful conversation. I can see Mara resents my illness. She thinks I'm keeping Landon from living his life. Maybe she's not wrong, but a person should be allowed to want their family close when they're dying. Shouldn't they? Reading that broke my heart all over again. May died wondering if she was being selfish for wanting me there. She spent her last days second-guessing herself because of Mara's cruelty. But here's what I've learned going through her things. May saw it coming. In her final weeks, she left little notes for me to find. Some were tucked in books she knew I'd read, others in kitchen drawers I'd have to clean out. Landon, the people who love you will never make you choose between them and your family. Love should add to your life, not subtract from it. Remember, how someone treats the vulnerable in your life is how they'll treat you when you're vulnerable. Trust your instincts about people. If someone feels wrong when you're grieving, they're wrong for you. She was still teaching me, even after she was gone. Work has been good. The project I'd been working on before my leave got delayed anyway, so the timing worked out. I've been going to a grief counselor, which has helped more than I expected. She helped me understand that Mara's behavior wasn't just cruel, it was a form of emotional abuse. Making someone choose between their dying family member and their relationship is manipulative and wrong. The strangest part of all this? I'm actually grateful it happened when it did. If May had died without Mara showing her true colors, I might have married this person. I might have spent years trying to understand why she was so cold to my family, why she resented my connections to other people. May's illness revealed Mara's character, but it also revealed something about myself, that I'm stronger than I thought, and that I won't compromise my values for someone who doesn't respect what matters to me. I'm not dating anyone right now, and that's fine. I've got plenty to work through, and May's house to properly settle into. But I know what to look for now. Someone who adds love to my life instead of demanding I subtract it from elsewhere. I think May's final gift wasn't just the house or the memories or even the journal entries. It was showing me exactly the kind of person I should never settle for. The house feels peaceful now. I've started hosting Sunday dinners for Corinne and her family, continuing May's tradition. Last week, one of my cousins brought his new girlfriend, and she spent the whole evening asking about May, looking at photos, wanting to hear stories about what she was like. That's the difference. Good people want to know about the people you love. They don't resent your history or try to separate you from your connections. I miss May every day, but I'm not bitter anymore. She lived to be 87, saw me grow up into someone she was proud of, and managed to protect me one last time from someone who would have made my life smaller instead of bigger. That's a pretty good legacy. Edit. Thank you all for following this story and offering so much support. It's meant more than you know during one of the hardest periods of my life.